I want to welcome you to the FDA 43 observation presentation as given by Compliance Insight. What we're going to be talking about today is how to respond, how to act, how to react to FDA 43 observations, how to save yourself, your company, your career, and make sure that you don't go down the wrong path. What I want to talk to you about today is when you receive that 483 or you're in the midst of receiving it. I'm assuming at this point, if you're reading this, that you're probably in the middle of some sort of significant FDA enforcement issue. Responding to that 483 can be one of the most important and most challenging, certainly most critical activities in your career and in the company's history. Failure to ensure proper response and failing to clearly indicate to the FDA that you are in control, and note it there that I put that all in caps. Control is critical. If you don't signify that, it can be fatal to your business and certainly to your career. Writing the response. I'm going to talk about 14 points. There are some basic rules that can be established regarding writing a response letter. Some or all of these rules may apply depending on your particular situation. Just understand that this is a quick review of this. If you want further detail on these types of things, certainly give us a call. You can visit our website, www.compliance-insight.com. There's some additional information there about responding to FDA issues. Hopefully we can be able to help out any situation that you have. Number one in the 14 points to success, have someone in a high level in the quality department review, write, look at, and collate the response. They should be the ones that sort of control this. They want to look at the data that's being presented. What's going on? How is it working? Do you really want a project manager at this stage? Someone who's going to be able to look at this data and be able to compile it. The reason why I want someone in quality involved with this is because they understand or should understand how to write the response in FDA speak, how to answer all of the questions, how to look at it systemically. Make sure that someone, at least with a quality background, is the one writing that response. Number two, personnel copied on the response should include high-level management. This shows that management at the firm is aware of the issues and the commitments being made to the FDA. You want to show the agency that the highest levels in the company are indeed aware of the situation. Number three, include a cover letter or opening statement. This is typically from the senior management. It thanks the auditors for providing the information, being professional, understanding that they uncovered situation at your site that was egregious in the FDA eye. State that you are working on these things, that you are committed to making this right, and put anything you can in there saying that you are willing to work with the agency to make this right. Number four, always remember that you're writing the response to the auditor's management. The auditor that was on site will certainly see the response. They will be asked about the response, but it goes to the management at the FDA. They're going to look at it and try to understand what it is that you're saying. Do not assume that the person reading that report understands everything that you're writing. Verify that if an outside person or third party looks at your response, that indeed they understand what you are writing. Number five, restate the observation and any reference number in the response. If it's observation number 1, number 2, number 2A, number 2B, whatever it is, put that into your response format. And certainly go to our website. We have some example formats for how to respond to the FDA. Do that. If you don't see it, give us a call, shoot us an email. We'll try to help you out with that. If possible, indicate the related compliance systems. That's number 6. True, the FDA found problems. But that doesn't mean everything in your company was wrong, or everything in the observation area was wrong, hopefully. It means that some things were indeed working properly. Accentuate the positive. Show them that you were indeed compliant in other areas. Number 7, if the action item is going to take some time to implement, tell them what are you going to do in the interim to verify that you're compliant with the GMPs, that your product, your process is in control. You have to have something there. You can't say, I'm going to get this fixed in 6 months, and in the interim, I'm going to just continue making product. That is not what the FDA wants to see. How are you going to control the product until you get that final fix in place? Number 8, if corrective actions have already been implemented, indicate the following: the dates that they were acted upon. When did you do this? Tell them. Show them the training that was performed. Copies of the sign-up sheets, whatever it is. Any PowerPoint presentations that were given, put them in there. Show what you were doing. Copies of purchase orders, installation work, whatever it is, to show that you're doing work to get this done. If you put copies of SOPs in there, take a highlighter and highlight the sections that were changed, or do it in Word, and show them these are the sections that were being changed to correct the situation with the observation. If you have to, put detail in a note or in your response saying why that response will correct the problem. Number 9, define how enhancements will prevent reoccurrence of the issue observed. Do not assume that the reader will understand this fact. It's very critical. Number 10, explain what will be done to expand, enhance, streamline, fix, whatever it is, your compliance system. Understand the observation was made because quality, compliance broke down. Something didn't catch the issue. Tell them we are using this as a training base to show people what to look for. We're expanding it to other sites. We will use this as a tool to enhance our education. Number 11, talking about education here, don't forget about training. Allow sufficient time to implement changes that incorporate training that may be including proficiency training. Don't just assume that I'm going to change the SOP and everyone's going to understand it. Make sure you build in there some time to train and confirm that that training was active and effective. 12. Describe how the firm will monitor progress and effectiveness of the CAPAs. This is a CAPA effectiveness checks, pure and simple. Number 13. It may be helpful to explain that despite the issues noted, there were never any other issues that were detected. You can say that, yes, we had an issue here, but we didn't get a complaint. We haven't seen it. We looked at all of our retained samples. We looked at the batch records. Everything has been okay. We have no indication that this event actually occurred. If you can do that, it's great. And number 14, the most critical part of all this, revise, revise, revise. Allow other people to look at it. Take it to legal counsel if you have to. Take it to some senior management. I'm not advocating getting into analysis paralysis, because the more people you have looking at it, the more corrections that'll come through, the more people will have their little bit of the pie they want to put their finger into. But you do not want to get into that situation. You want logical people, you want experienced people to look at it. Send it to legal counsel, send it to senior management, send it to a consultant. Whatever it takes to do to get someone to look at it and give you valuable feedback. I'm going to talk to you a bit now about 7 actions to avoid. Although the following information is certainly not an exhaustive list, there are some strategies taken by firms that indicate to an auditor the firm's unwillingness to change, or certainly their inability to make appropriate corrective actions. If a firm does not have the capability, time, experience to respond appropriately to an audit, the prime directive should be to seek outside assistance. Trust me, I've seen this many times. Avoid these at all costs. Number 1 in the pathway to disaster. During the closeout or in the response letter, you argue every point that they are not appropriate or we have never had this issue. This is called what I call a scorched earth policy. You are unwilling to give up anything. Now, I'm not advocating just bending over and taking it. It is, hey, we've got to go in here and understand they are doing a job. We look at it and we will correct what we think is proper to correct. If it is truly wrong, don't just comply with it. Tell them professionally, hey, this is wrong. But do not just do a scorched earth policy across the board. State that the corrective actions being requested will put the firm out of business, drive jobs to foreign countries. I've heard that for 20 plus years now. They're driving jobs to Mexico. They're driving jobs to Japan. They're driving jobs to China. Whatever it is. It's crap. I can tell you this. Everybody that is successful does this. They comply. They are effective at it. And it makes them a stronger, more successful company. Number 3, the rainforest or overwhelming response. You include massive amounts of data that's not warranted, or you're just trying to overwhelm the reader. You're trying to impress them. One of these things I heard, the response should weigh a certain amount so that they know you put a lot of effort into it. That is not the approach. It has to be effective. It has to be appropriate. Remember this, if you give them stuff, they will read it. And sometimes if they read things in this mass of data that you're giving them and it's incorrect or you highlight other problems, it could be a real detriment to you. Number 4 on the pathway to disaster, implement changes immediately. This is really improper. If it's an easy fix, then certainly you can do it. But a lot of times, I know I've been in places where I go through, I find something, I come in the next day, and the people are saying, hey, over the evening, we corrected this issue, here's the SOP, and it's already in effect. Everything's signed off, and the SOP is in effect right now. I don't like to see that because you didn't take time out to understand why it was there. What caused it? What was the impact? Did you do training? Did you have time in the evening to do that? It's really improper to do a quick fix that really doesn't assess the situation. It's a knee-jerk reaction, and it shows the auditor that you really didn't think things through. Number 5, not responding to the audit at all. Actions may be taken, but no formal letter is sent indicating what was performed. I can tell you this, if you do not respond to a 483, the FDA certainly looks at that as an indication that you're not willing to comply. They don't like that. I don't care what anyone else says. I respond to the FDA 483 in writing. Make sure that it's done properly. Number 6, this enigmatic response. The firm indicates that actions are going to be taken, but does not address what these things are. Yeah, we're going to fix it. When? How? How are you looking at it? How did you take an in-depth look at it? Those are types of responses that are going to quickly get you a response letter back to that 483 if it's not a warning letter that you get back. Promises without substance, sort of carrying into that number 6 response there. Similar to that, it is indicating that we're going to do something, but you don't give any specifics. We're going to do this, but you didn't say when, how. What were you going to change? You've got to include some detail into this. Make sure that it's clear what you did and why it's going to fix the problem. The thing I can tell you, the phases to resolve the 483. Phase 1, you assess the situation systemically. You've got to look at what the observation was and how it affects the system. You can't say, I fixed this point without looking at the system. Phase 2, resolve issues or plan to resolve these issues systemically across all sites. Don't forget, if you're a company that has multiple sites, you have to correct it across the entire board, entire country, entire world. You have to go from site to site. If you own it, then you're responsible for it. And I can tell you, people who use CMOs, contract labs, any of those places, that is just an extension of you. You should go to them and confirm that they don't have the same practice that you just got a 483 for. I can tell you, most people will miss that. Phase 3, finish the response. If serious enough, follow up with your district office. You'd go through, you put everything together, you've sent it in, follow up with them. Make sure they received it. Make sure they're reviewing it. If they have any questions with it, seek counsel with them. Phase 4, verify that the solutions worked. It's just a typical follow-up with the actions that you implemented. Were they effective? Did they work? Did they cause more problems? That's the first thing the FDA is going to look at when they come back, is verifying that you put it in place and that it was effective. The choice is yours. I can tell you right now, you either work diligently now or you face a more serious issue in the future. And those things could go well beyond 483. You could have warning letters. You could have delays in reviews of applications. It could result in a multitude of problems. It's really effective at this point to handle it effectively, and get this thing off of your plate. Make sure that you're compliant. I want to thank you for going through this with me. I try to include all sorts of information in this that make this effective for you and valuable for you. If you have any questions, certainly shoot us an email at the email address given here. Call us. Go to our website. There's all sorts of resources there, and we will certainly try to help you out. Call us for a free consultation if you have a 483, if you're dealing with one or you think one's on the way. Call us. We will try to help you out with this. This is a free consultation at this stage. It's certainly valuable for you. You want to take advantage of this. And again, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed this.